Hello there. So we're going to be doing something a little different today. In the spread video, which you hopefully came to this video from, I said I would make a video explaining the difficulty elements of every difficulty in a spread, but just in a non-edited way, and that's what we're doing right now. As you can tell, this is live. I have no script. I don't know what I'm doing at all. So this video is going to be really, really bad. But if you're watching this, that shouldn't matter to you, because either you have really low standards, like you made it however many seconds into this video and you saw it was like however long this is, or you somehow really want to know some stuff about spread and you don't want to read. It kind of contradicts stuff there, but hey, this video exists kind of to say, like, the actual video about spread I uploaded earlier isn't completely pointless, because if you don't know what every difficulty entails, that was my computer, not yours. If you don't know what every difficulty is, that means you can't really judge what a spread is. It just doesn't work very well, but I uploaded it anyway, and it's Saturday night, and I'm uploading this tomorrow. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. It's been part of the plan the whole time, but I'm just waiting until now. I haven't been home for 12 hours, and I got home, and I'm like, okay, gotta record this thing. So if I don't do it now, I tried to record this last night, but I was really, really tired, and so it just didn't work. It was just really bad. Worse than it is right now, believe it or not. Like I would talk about nonsense for even longer than I was before. But yeah, are we good? Let's get into this. So ranking criteria, difficulty elements. That's what we're covering, right? So the difficulty elements in the spread video, I said if you follow the rules and guidelines of a difficulty. Let me like make this big, just so it'll be visible on video. I don't know why this thing gets bigger too. It's like mapper stuff. Yeah, so maybe you can see that. I don't know. That was my computer again. I'm syncing. I said I was out today because that's because I was doing like some film thing, and so I've got all the videos on my laptop, like video files, and they're all syncing through Dropbox onto my desktop, which I'm recording this on right now. And so you're gonna hear that a couple more times, I think. I don't know how many more there are. I synced most of them already before recording, but anyway, 3 minutes in and we've gone over nothing. Right, so you follow the rules and guidelines of a difficulty, you probably have that difficulty. Let's go over what those rules and guidelines are. First, do you know what a rule and a guideline is? Rule is you can't break it ever. Guideline is you can only break it, but if you have a really, really good reason to. If you don't break it. It's like a rule, just with very little exception. So just pretend they're all rules. Okay. What am I doing? Do not use overlaps which are not clearly understandable for low-level players. An overlap is that objects touching each other, pretty much. So that means don't use overlaps on an easy. Wow, crazy. I know. This excludes lower BPM 1/2 usage. That was my computer again. Lower BPM 1/2 usage, so stuff like this is I don't know. Yeah. If this were like 130 BPM instead of 260, this would be lower BPM 1/2 usage. Makes sense. Yeah. Excludes that, meaning you can do that. I should also mention that rhythm-related guidelines apply to approximately 180 BPM maps, so low relative to that. It's really confusing. Okay, just live with it. Occasional stacks, so that means stuff like circles. I remember I do a stack on here, right? Not that. That one. Yeah, on the easy. I think it was right here. Occasional stacks. I think there's like 2. This sound happens twice in the song. Very occasional. So that means you can do that. Slider body overlaps I don't know anywhere that does this, but stuff like that. That's a slider body overlap. Yeah, you can do that. You can. And straightforward slight overlaps. I guess that's more like something like that, I guess. I don't... If it's straightforward, you can tell. Okay. I'm not even going to try to clarify. I've got too much other stuff to cover. Everything not included is listed. So that means don't do stuff like that. Don't do that. That's silly. Don't do like that. No. Stop. Don't stop being closed. If stacks are used, stack leniency must be set high enough for one, I don't know how you say this out loud. I'm going to say 1 just because that's how I read it in my head. 1 objects to stack. Directly overlapping objects causes reading problems for new players. So that would be like stack leniency is this thing in here in the advanced tab. So if you had it like really low, these stacks here, they wouldn't actually stack. But it's more important the way that this thing said it was 1 so that means if they were like here 1 beat apart, they would need to like be actually stacking like that. Yeah, cool. So those are like the rules. Hard to judge this rule, easy to judge this rule. Got it. Time distance equality should be used. Variations are acceptable if they are clearly different from spacing used for different rhythms. When objects are more than 2 beats apart and have relatively high spacing on a playfield, time distance equality doesn't need to be as precise. Okay. So, time distance equality, I think I explained what that is. That was my computer again. Maybe I should just keep using circles because it uses it. It's an idea where distances between objects on the playfield match distances between objects on the timeline. So like these are 1 beat caps, they're the same. Wow. Crazy. Spacing equals rhythm. That's basically what it is. Variations can be used though. It's like if you do something like that, people aren't gonna think like that this is like 1 and a 16th of a beat. No one's gonna think like, oh, it must be this rhythm because they're slightly spaced further. No. After like testing around with some new players, they could read the spacing variation stuff pretty easily, like much more than you'd think. It's kind of crazy considering how much people like emphasize spacing has to be the exact precise. You can't be like 1 pixel off or else it's going to be unrankable. Yeah, where was I even? Variations are acceptable. Yeah, pretty much. When objects are 2 beats or more than 2 beats apart and have relatively high spacing on the playfield, time distance equality doesn't need to be as precise. Only example I can think of for this right now is like this right here. I think of this one. Yeah. Maybe not this one. It was something around here. Basically, because the distance between these 2 objects is so long, I don't have to actually follow distance steps enough. I can put stuff up here. No one's going to complain. These are some ugly sliders. When distance snap is used, try to keep it between 0.8 times and 1.2 times. Values too much higher or lower may make the difference between slider velocity and spacing counterintuitive. A higher distance snap... That was my computer. A higher distance snap can be used to avoid overlapping, but the slider velocity should be increased if you find yourself doing this often. That's a lot of words. Okay. First sentence. When distance snap is used, try to keep it between 0.8 times and 1.2 times. Pretty simple. Distance snap, pretty much everyone does those on easy and low or normal difficulties. It's time distance equality, like in a tool. This tool, the distance snap tool. Basically, and the distance snap is measured by this number up here. You can get it to it by holding Alt. You probably know that already. You're smart. Basically, this rule thing guideline says to keep it between 0.8 and 1.2, because if it's not, it's going to be really confusing because the spacing for, or like movement required for sliders and the movement required from the slider to the next object would be really counterintuitive. There's like one, I don't remember the map actually. Toho. You can tell I'm prepared for this. I'm very prepared. Okay, I don't know where it is. Let's just assume this one's also screwed up. It's not. Assuming it was, I remember it was 0.5 distance snap, so it was like this. It's just like when you follow the slider, then you like sort of just stop. But it's silly. Don't do that. That's if you have it too low. If you have it, whoa, volume. If it's too high or something, it'd be more like you just move way too far for what you'd think. This is for babies. Easier to for babies. You remember that. Don't do anything that's not intuitive. Okay? Okay. Right, so values too much higher or lower make a difference between... Yeah, I said that. Higher distance snap can be used to avoid overlapping, but the slider velocity should be increased if you find yourself doing this often. That's pretty much too... I think... Right, that was for like... If you're using some slightly too low slider velocity, something like... Actually, I don't know if that'll actually do it. Yeah, so you see, I'm at 1.2 distance snap, and oh no, that's because this is broken. I would have to make this even slower. Wow. There's people who do this. Just, it's a thing. It's a thing. They have stuff like this. You don't want this sort of stuff. You don't want every gap to be an overlap. I think what I showed you last time, that guy map, the one where I said stuff about 1/2 beat overlaps. That was an example of not thing you should be doing. But yeah, basically, if you have if you want to avoid that sort of stuff and you want to keep a lower slider velocity for whatever musical reason, then you can do that. But if you do this like for the entire map, just increase slider velocity, because that's dumb. Okay? Okay. Moving on. That was probably the worst explanation so far. Note density should consist of mostly 1/1, 2/1, or slower rhythms. It seems so silly to say them like that, but that's how I say them. This is pretty straightforward. I can look at this map still. 2/1. 2 beats between these objects. 1/1. 1 beat between these objects. Pretty simple. Cool. You get it. Yeah. That's pretty much all an easy is. You just have those rhythms the whole time. Crazy. Or a slower rhythm, so that would be like that Julio map I showed you earlier. I don't remember where it was. This is a slower rhythm. There's just a lot of space between the objects. Yeah, okay. Okay. Avoid using sliders shorter than 1/2 of a beat. These are too fast to be comprehended by new players. Sure. Yes. Let's look at it. I don't know. 1/2, pretty much because of how low most slider velocity for easies is and how minimal their rhythms are, because the rhythms are supposed to be 1/1 and 2/1. So using a 1/2 slider like that, kind of how do you even follow it? It's like it goes faster than any rhythm you'd ever expect, and it's like you just touch it. It's like a kick slider for an easy, but except kick slider is like the word that no one understands. So it's just confusing. Don't do it. Okay? They're too fast to be comprehended by new players. Moving on. Avoid spacing which causes consecutive 1/1 rhythms to overlap. If too many consecutive objects overlap, it can be confusing for low level players. I pretty much said this for the distance snap thing. What that last map did. Trying to type with one hand. You can type Stefan with one hand. That's pretty nice. Basically, you don't do this. Or one rhythms overlap. It's a bad way to do stuff. That's just because, like, if you're having every object overlap, you're making things very condensed, I guess. It's harder to interpret when or where to click if you got like a big chain of objects. Something like that. I'm just really bad at explanations. I'm not trying to like make it sound like these are all fake rules or anything. If I made them in like a real video with a script, it'd be a lot more concise. But no. Avoid 1-1 sliders with multiple reverses. New players are unable to read additional repeats because they are visible for such a short amount of time. Okay. 1-1 sliders with multiple repeats, basically. That. Multiple repeats, more than one. Basically how a new player reacts to this stuff is like, what? There was something else? Basically, yeah. Okay. 2 minutes. No, that was wrong. Yeah, okay. Avoid slider only sections. This is one where people, like, for this ranking criteria thing, you get feedback from people. It's like a thread. People were kind of confused about this one because it's like, what? Sliders are easy. Circles are hard, right? You'd think so, but nah. Scrubs are actually better at handling circles because they just don't know how to handle sliders at all. Sliders are confusing at first. Easies are for babies. Babies don't know what a slider is. They know what a circle is. Sliders, you gotta click, hold, release instead of just click. So, avoiding slider only sections is a thing. Just, it's not like a very strict thing. You can kind of BS your way through it. You just have to include rest moments without objects to click, or follow should be used. Circles and rest moments, yeah. So basically, if you have rhythm that is not just 100 sliders in a row, you'll be fine. Okay? Yeah. Manipulating slider velocity is discouraged. Slider velocity should only be changed for sections of music with different pacings and should not be drastically variable. I think I can look at this map again, can I? Yeah. Pretty straightforward. I don't know what's with this timing at all, but I'll just ignore that. Every slider velocity point thing, it's all the same. Because anything weird would be weird. Whoa. It's just like, basically, slider velocity changes are not an element on an easy. That's pretty much all what these things are. These are not elements on easies. They're elements for normal, hard, insane, extra, or whatever. You got it. So manipulating slider velocity is discouraged. So if I were to do like that, it's just not a thing you do. Because scrubs don't understand that sliders work like that. Slider velocity should only be changed for sections of music with different pacings and should not be drastically variable. It's a little hard to describe what drastically variable is because it's very vague, but like if I wanted to make this section a little slower because the music got a little calmer, I'd do it for, or I guess I should do it after the chorus. Yeah, something like the chorus ended, so I'm going to make it 0.9 instead of 1.0. That changes a whole lot, doesn't it? Right? No. But you can do it. That is like the exception to the rule. If you do it for the entire section, that is. This is the entire section, not just, you don't do like one object slider velocity changes on an easy. That's not a thing. Use straightforward and easily understandable slider shapes. New players may not be able to understand how to follow more complex shapes. Alright. Complex shapes are stuff like that. You see it on like a modern insane stuff. Modern meaning like anything past 2013. Or stuff like, I don't know. You don't even see these. It's not a thing. Basically anything where you got like the head or the tail and making it, like, the actual path ambiguous. So like right here, you see this little corner right there? There's a corner right there. But if I have this right here, you can't see the corner. Where to go? I don't know where to follow the slider. I don't know how to play a circle. Obviously don't do stuff like this. That's a lot worse. So basically, don't do anything where slider body is ambiguous because weird shape. Okay. Spinner recovery time should be at least 4 beats at 180 BPM. In case that was somehow not clear. That's the same for all of these. Or in case you forgot, because I already explained it. I think this difficulty had... yeah. I don't know when this difficulty was made. I don't know why I'm looking at it so much, but... we're looking at it. Basically, this is 2 beats. You don't do that. You do 4 beats. Do you want to know why? Maybe you do. Because while you're spinning, it's like, oh man, objects are appearing. What do I do? I don't know. But if there's no objects, pretty much, this is like perfect timing right here. Whatever approach rate this is, I don't even know. Or 3, yeah. And whatever BPM it is. It's usually not however convenient this is, but after about 4 beats, that's when the object is appearing on screen. With like the approach rate of an easy, and the new players need to like locate their mouse or whatever after spinning. Stuff like that. New players don't know how to play Osu. Basically, that's why they should be 4 beats. Avoid spinners less than 4 beats. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 beats. You don't want to do that. It's just too fast. New players are going to be like, assuming this is the proper repeat slider thing, they'll be like this. Yeah, I like playing Osu. Oh, I didn't spin. Oh no. That's why sliders should be, not sliders, spinners should be more than 4 beats. 4 beats or more. Players need time to recognize they have to begin spinning. Yeah. Difficulty settings guidelines. This is kind of weird section. It came from the Catch the Beat. They made their own ranking criteria thing. Wow, this is so ugly when it's huge. Yeah, they have their own ranking criteria to Catch the Beat, the fruit thing. I don't know anything about it. But yeah, they have guidelines. It's so small compared to standard. Anyway, yeah, they have pretty much most of their guidelines are difficulty settings guidelines, but we decided to split them up just because they seemed a little weird being paired with all the other guidelines. So yeah, they don't like fit very well. These all say don't do this thing ever. Then these are like approach rate should be about this thing, about this number. There's no bold stuff even. Why is there no bold? That's important. So yeah, approach rate should be 5 or less. You just don't make it like, yeah, okay. Overall difficulties of HP drain should be between 1 and 3. Did this pass? Yeah, it's OD2, HP2. Follow the, if you're making it easy, you want difficulty settings that are easy. Who would have guessed? Do I need to explain these more in depth? I hope not. If you're watching this video, you don't even care, I think. Let's move on to normal. Yeah, there's a lot of, I already said in the actual spread video, there's a lot of things that repeat from easy to normal. That's why normals can be the lowest difficulty on a set. It just works out like that. So, you'll see, this is rather familiar. Do not use overlaps which are not clearly understandable for low-level players. This excludes 1/2 usage, which no longer the low BPM thing because 1/2 usage is common in like all BPM normals. Stacks, no longer occasional stacks either because stacks are a thing in normals. Slider body overlaps and straightforward slight overlaps. Those are the same, yeah. Everything not included is listed. So overlaps pretty much are handled the exact same way, except on easies you don't want to do many stacks or 1/2 usage stuff, while on normal you can. Okay. basically I'd advise don't ever do stacks or 1/2 on easies. Just ever. Oh, you can. You don't have to listen to me. If stacks are used, stack leniency must be set high enough for 1/1 objects to overlap directly up. This is the exact same as easy. You don't even need to explain that. Guidelines. Exact same as easy. Exact same as easy except 1.3 1.2. That means we changed it to 1.3 here because can I think of a map that does it? Maybe. Does this one do it? What's the distance tab here? Alright. Okay, there's no distance tab. That's a problem. No, it just has really high slider velocity. Okay, that's the thing. Basically, it's like usually if you have around that slider velocity, because people don't really go for 1.4 in normals, and you used 1.2, it's like a little too close for comfort, so people go like 1.3ish. Maybe it'd be better if I use like 1.1 as my slider velocity to show this example. So then it's still gross. Basically, it's a little higher so that you can do spaced 1/2 if your map allows for it. Okay. Yeah, the rest of the wording's the exact same. No density should consist of mostly 1/1, occasional 1/2, or slower rhythms. So, let me just search random normal. Random button. This is like a 2003 normal. Yeah, 2003. This song's copyrighted, isn't it? Copyrighted more than usual. This is like DMCA'd on Osu. So yeah. A normal normal's rhythm is stuff like 1 beat gaps with occasional 1/2 beat gaps and 1/2 sliders as well. But 1/2 sliders are a lot less common than what this map makes it seem like. Let me just like go through some other ones. Yeah, this is I guess a lot more normal. Maybe. I don't know, it's a little less dense. This is like the... Actually, it's a little less dense than what I'd even usually use. Basically, you can go anywhere between what I just showed you, that map and this map, and you'll pretty much have a normal. Or you'll have an average normal. Yeah, so it's mostly 1/1 with occasional 1/2. Does that make sense? 1/1, 1/1, 1/2. 1/1, 1/1. It's occasional because it's less than the 1/1 usage. The 1/2 usage is less than the 1/1 usage. Then slower rhythms, that's a slower rhythm slightly. That's like we actually had a guideline about polarity, which polarity is not the right word, but I think we use it on here, right? Do we? Yeah. Rhythm made intuitive through usage of consistent timeline gaps to bridge between mapping different snappings. If you watch the irregular rhythm video I made a long time ago, it talks about polarity, just it never uses the word polarity, because the word polarity is kind of dumb, because it doesn't refer to what it is. It's like, when you hear the word polarity, you don't think of intuitive rhythm. What? Yeah, okay. Anyway. I don't even know where... Right, slower rhythms, how was that? Avoid long chains of objects with 1/2 gaps. So basically like one-handed typing. Don't do this. This is a lot of 1/2. This is a hard, yes, I realize. You wouldn't want to do this much 1/2 in a row on a normal because it's too hard. I wonder if I have any normals like that. Probably not. This is like an easy, isn't it? Yeah. Let's like make one up. You wouldn't want to do this. just wouldn't want to do this. Okay. Okay. Avoid slider only set. No, wait, no, wait. Where am I? I'm in the right difficulty, yeah. Avoid 1/2 objects after sliders which appear underneath the... Okay, underneath the previous slider's path. Players at this level fully follow sliders' paths, so placing an object directly after the slider is more intuitive. This also includes stacks underneath slider ends. Wait, what? What about stacks underneath slider ends? Oh, okay, I get it. This is why words are confusing, because even I don't understand the words, and I was the one who helped write them. So, like, what it means by... Where was it even? Players at this level underneath the sliders, or the previous slider's path. So, you see, from 1 to 2, you follow the body of 1 into 2. But if it's like that, you don't. Or if it's like that, you go like down, and then you go back. What? Ew, gross. No, you want to just follow through it. Follow through the slider. That is how you play sliders, or that's how scrubs play sliders. Normal playing scrubs, and easy playing scrubs. But easies don't have 1/2 beat gap overlap stuff usually, so that wasn't written. If they are used, you probably know what you're doing already. Which is that's a really bad mindset to have when explaining something. Okay, I'll pretend you didn't hear that. Players at level fully follow sliders' paths, so this also includes stacks underneath slider ends. That means basically, it's supposed to mean that, it's supposed to mean that where you can't see, you see it's like the highlighted part is below this slider, right? If it was like this, it works properly because you see the stacked object underneath it, right? But when it's just like this, you don't. It's a very rare case, right? People never even do underneath slider and overlap stuff nowadays at all. Was that a sentence? I'm not sure. Avoid 1/2 objects with multiple reverse, or 1/2 sliders with multiple reverses. This is the same as the easy thing. Basically, you don't want to do something like that. You don't want to do that because you can't see this reverse right here. You don't have enough reaction time. Are you able to react in something like a little less than 200 milliseconds? You're probably not. So normal difficulty player is definitely not going to. Yeah, same wording. That was a good Avoid slider only sections. That's the same as easy. That is. Stacks are acceptable, which I kind of already said up there. Yeah, stacks are good, but avoid switching between 1/1 and 1/2 stacks repeatedly. This was. Do I know how to spell his name? No, I don't know. Is it that? Yeah, that's it. I wonder if I can find it. This was like, I don't know why I remember it, but there was a disqualification like 2 years ago. Yeah, on this map. Where the normal had a bunch of different kind of stacks. That was the issue. So yeah, it's got like 1 beat stacks here. And then it had like something like this. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. There's a 1 beat stack followed directly by a 1/2 beat stack, and it's like you can't read that if you're bad. You assume stacks are all following some sort of rhythm, like visually consistent rhythm concept. I guess that's how I put it in the rhythm video. I don't remember. That was like months ago. Where basically you see a stack and that means you associate it with a certain type of rhythm after you see it so many times. But if you're switching between different rhythms with stacks, it gets really confusing. Okay, so use 1 beat, 1 stacks, 1 beat stacks, or 1/2 stacks repeatedly. Don't use both. Yeah, this may cause reading issues for new players since the 2 rhythms are visually the same. That's what I just said. I should read that part afterwards instead of just ignoring it. Manipulating slider velocity is discouraged. Slider velocity should only be changed for sections of music with different pacings and should not be drastically variable. That is the same as the easy thing in every way. Yeah. Yeah. Usually, I think normal should have a little more leniency with slider velocity changes than easy, but still, technically, they're allowed on both if you have a good reason for it, so yeah. Use straightforward and easily understandable slider shapes. This is the exact same. Spinner, I almost said slider recovery time. Spinner recovery time should be at least 2 beats. This is to ensure adequate vocabulary. People reading this ranking criteria don't know how to speak English. This is not a good word. This is to ensure adequate time to hit an object following a spinner. Basically the same explanation as normal, or as easy, where you want, this is a good map, where you'd want to use more distance time because it's kind of gross. That was unrelated though. That Stefan normal, I'm not going to go find it. Or Stefan easy, I'm not going to go find it. That used 2 beat gaps. That was good. Use those for normals where approach rate is higher and players are more capable of playing Osu. Right, yeah. Avoid spinners less than 3 beats. Same thing. People need to recognize that they have to begin spinning, and if you don't give them enough time, they suck. It's a little bit less than easy because players are better on normals. Yeah. Difficulty setting guidelines. Approach rate should be between 4 and 6. Usually, you don't go up to 6 unless you have high slider velocity and high spacing. So like space 1/2 uses 6. Anything else 5 or 4. You're good. Overall difficulty / HP drain should be between 3 and 5. Yeah, basically. I should probably say, like, I don't know where it's written. It's probably written somewhere, but people tend to do like OD and HP are 1 below approach rate. And that's kind of what these rules are saying very clearly here. It's a thing. Okay. Hey, believe it or not, we're almost done because hard, insane, and extra are, yeah, there's nothing new here. That's because as you go on, difficulties have more elements that they allow. So you don't need to restrict as much. Right? Yeah. If stacks are used, stack leniency must be set high enough for 1/2 objects to stack directly. Yeah, this is the same thing as the other stuff. If you're doing... Oh, this is one of those difficulties I don't like spacing on. that's kind of a different one. And this one's like 5 BPM, come on. This is 1/3. Gonna be very irrelevant. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. Overlap. Stacks. Something with stacks. 1/2 stacks. You don't do this. Did I not save it? I did. Is this like manually stacked? No, it's not. Why is it? Oh, it's probably because the approach rate, yeah. Basically, if this guy happened to use AR8, it's probably gonna not stack, right? Yeah. Don't do this with 1/2 rhythms. Okay. Okay. Cool. Spinner recovery time should be at least 1 beat. This is to ensure adequate time. Something. Does not have a spinner? No, it doesn't. This one does. It's at the end. Okay. Spinner. Assuming there's a spinner. What is this background? Does that? Okay, that's just a weird skin thing. Sure. Basically, you can do this. Okay. You can't do something like that. Straightforward. I've explained this too many times. I'm like thinking, do I have to explain more because have I already said it? I'm going insane right now. Note density should consist of mostly 1/2, occasional 1/4, or slower rhythms. Okay. Basically, you'll see right here, it's all 1/2 rhythm. This probably doesn't have any 1/4 rhythms. It's a baby hard. Let's look at I can look at one of my own hards because those usually have them. Yeah, this is by occasional 1/4. It means like actual 1/4 where you click. This is actual 1/4. These like reverse sliders, not actual 1/4. They are easy baby stuff. And hards, you can see now, they don't have a rule saying don't use sliders with multiple reverses, because stuff like this, at this point you're supposed to learn this is a difficulty element. These like short reversing sliders, I think they're called. Right? Yeah, short reversing slider. Basically, the wrong, or maybe was it the right word for kick slider? I think it was the right word for kick slider, but people don't call them kick sliders. Yeah. So basically hards, mostly 1/2 with occasional clickable 1/4. Avoid streams made of more than 5 notes. So yeah, I think Handsome's got a hard with 5-note streams. This one. Basically, you don't do more than... Actually, is this the one with it? Did he switch them all out? I guess he did. That's unfortunate. Basically, you are allowed streams of 5 notes, but more than that, don't do it. It's a little too much extremeness. Short reversing sliders can be used in exchange for these when the song supports it. Yeah. So that's basically what I said before, where short reversing sliders don't really count as active 1/4. You can do them. Just don't do like, don't do that. Don't do that. That's silly. Avoid mixing 1/2 and 1/4 rhythms in the same... No, that's not it. Avoid visually similar 1/2 and 1/1 spacing. Spacing variations through jumps on points of emphasis are encouraged, but only if these jumps are recognizably different from from 1/1 gaps. I know Fo does this a lot. Fa? Is his name Fa or Fo? I don't really know. I think it's pronounced Fa, but maybe it's not. Where was it? I realized there's 600, 700 responses. Toho. Toho. Hard. 4. That's a lot better. There it is. Does it use any 1P caps? I'm really searching for it. It does, but it's a stack. Okay. You win this time, Fo or Fa. But basically, if on a map with a bunch of jumps, if you do something like this, then you do that. It's like, oh, you got bigger spacing for the 1B gap. Good. But you got variable spacing for 1/2 rhythms. So it's like, you can't tell what spacing really is. This is, I think, the basic spacing video covers this. Visually consistent spacing concept thing. I actually covered that a few minutes ago too. Right? Maybe. That was so long ago. I'm not capable of talking for this long. Yeah, spacing variations through jumps on points of emphasis are encouraged, but only if these jumps are recognizably different from 1/1 gaps. So what this guy did here, or what he had before, the stack. If you have variable spacing, something like that, you can do that, as long as like 1/1 is not just bigger spacing. If it's a stack, it's recognizably different while being something. Word. Yeah, cool. Avoid mixing 1/2 and 1/4 rhythms in the same stack. Different rhythms of this density without spacing indication can cause reading issues. This was one of the rule things, guideline things I proposed, and I don't think anyone understood what I meant with the wording. Because it's like, what does multiple rhythms in the same stack mean? I basically mean like that. Except I think this is, yeah. Apparently this is okay. I said not to do this, but everyone else was like, no, you should be able to do that. But this is for 1/2 and 1/4 rhythms in the same stack. So, like this. Hard to see when the editor's glitching out. It just looks like a quad because there's so many notes in a row, but it's not. I think that the one XX Death X, pronounced, good name. It's the one with the stupid backgrounds. The ones that are irrelevant to the song. I don't remember what it's called. It's the one. No, yeah, that one. It's got one of these on Insane. Actually, I don't know where it is. It was somewhere here. Oh yeah, there it is. Right? 1/4. This is on Insane, so it's okay. But you know, it's there. Just so you understand it. Yeah, okay, explain that. Slider tick hit sounds are discouraged. If you want to use them, then make sure that their volume is balanced, i.e. notably quieter than regular hit sounds. A very loud slider tick, especially when used only once or twice, can be extremely jarring. The only example of this I can think of is not on a hard, but it would count on a hard too. Originally we had it where like all slider tick hit sounds are discouraged like this on every difficulty, but people were like, we gotta hit sound slider ticks because the song has too many sounds and we're not mapping the sounds that we want to hit sound. It made no sense to me, but this is why I'm not the ranking criteria. What was the map? Killy. Is that in it? Yeah, it's this one. Right here. Sounds so weird. Why did they hit sound this? It's like it's not even in the song. They just wanted to hit sound it really badly. It sounds terrible. It's because they use the same hit sound for whatever this is. I don't know which one it is. Yeah, their whistle. They used it for the slider tick too, and it sounds like it's just you click this and then it sounds like the thing that you should have clicked here too, but you didn't. It's very weird sounding. If they just used a different hit sound for the slider tick, it wouldn't be that weird, but they didn't. Yeah, avoid spinners less than 2 beats. Same as the 3 beats and the 4 beats. Pretty clear. Difficulty settings guidelines. This one, this had to switch overall difficulty and HP drain. Because for whatever reason, HP drain kind of doesn't go as high as overall difficulty. Settings are really weird. It doesn't make much sense. But, I mean, it does make sense, but it doesn't make sense assuming you've made like 100 maps and I'm not even going to try. Okay. Approach rate should be between these. Overall difficulty between these. HP drain between these. Okay. Moving on. I don't like explaining difficulty settings. Do whatever. Follow your heart. Okay. Insane. We're almost done. For sure, almost done here. How much time is this going to be? Less than an hour? Hopefully. Insane guidelines. Avoid cross-screen jumps and spaced streams. These are mapping techniques primarily reserved for expert level difficulties. Great reasoning there. I didn't write that, but yeah, basically insanes and extras I said earlier are kind of the same, but they just have like less extreme spacing stuff and less extreme rhythm stuff. That's what this is saying, except this is just spacing stuff. Rhythm stuff, it looks like it doesn't matter, but that's technically if you have an insane with like a super long death stream and a hard with only triples, you'll get killed for spread, but not written here. I just burped. I don't know if you could hear that. So yeah, cross screen jumps. What's a cross screen? Is it written up here? I wonder. No, it's not. Jump. Jump objects spaced further apart from each other in comparison to the average spacing for such patterns. Usually snap to 1/2 beats. So cross-screen jumps are jumps that are across the screen. Okay. You could figure that out, I think. You don't need me. Spaced streams are, this is a stream not spaced. This is a stream that is spaced. Cool. Don't do this on Insanes. Avoid unjustified spikes in difficulty, such as a spaced stream out of nowhere. Difficulty should be representative of the song's intensity. What is with that? Are they all? I'm looking at this. For whatever reason, this apostrophe has got me very concerned. I guess they're all like that. Huh. Okay. Don't know why it just occurred to me now, but moving on. Slider tick hit sounds are same as hard. Difficulty settings. This one's a funny one. There's no period on the end of 9.3 because there's a point. It'd be like 9.3 point. It would look weird, but it also looks weird that it's not consistent. Put your stuff between the stuff. There's reasons. Expert. Avoid unjustified spikes in difficulty. Avoid slider tick hit sounds are the same as those. This stuff. Do this stuff. Wow. The draft is up for community discussion until the 3rd of December. What day is it today? It's the 26th. Almost the 20th. Well, I'm uploading this to the 27th, assuming I actually do it. Hey. We're done.